Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter spilling from the doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
everyone. My name is Thanh, and this is the another session of the International English Cafe meeting. My meeting are usually on Friday evening in the Western Hemisphere, Saturday morning in the Eastern Hemisphere. Today's topic, so we are now in the month of February. Woo, time is flying so fast. So we are this is the month which has Valentine's Day. So I figured we'll make this whole month delve into love and relationship like topics. So for today, today's topic will be regarding relationship scenarios. So what I'll have the members do is I'll have them go through kind of reading some stories. So I do have a few stories, and hopefully too, actually, looks like I'm not as prepared as I thought it was, because technically I should have, yeah, there was one more story towards the end that technically has a recording. So I'll try to see what I can do to bring that up. But in any case, let's try. Yeah, I'll fumble along with that later. So in any case, I'm going to start sharing the screen again, and away we go with the readings. So before we actually let's see, give me a second again. Did I share it correctly? Okay, yeah, no sounds, screen, and share. Okay, just trying to make sure that I share correctly so that like it has the little frame of all of us, or not, at least 4 of us on the screen. Okay, so these are the relationship scenarios. What I did is I asked ChatGPT to create me stories in the form of a Reddit story. So does everybody know what a Reddit story is?
yes, I know the platform Reddit.
Yep. So basically, like when you're on Reddit, there's certain sections of Reddit where they have like stories that you could read. So this is kind of written in that type of format where, like, imagine like you're screwed, like you're browsing through Reddit, right? And then this is the stories that would pop up. So that's kind of the idea. Okay, so what I would want is could someone volunteer to read the story, and let me know if you can't read because it's so small, and then what I'll do is I'll make
Yes, I would like.
Sounds great.
If you allow me.
Yep. So the first story is Meeting in the City.
Meaning in the city, I will start, okay?
Yep.
I, 27M, meet her, 26F, 3 months ago in the city, and I still don't know if I imagine the whole thing or I am about to ruin my life. I started in early fall when the city was doing that thing where it pretends summer hasn't ended yet. I was new to the neighborhood and working out of a coffee shop near my apartment. She came in every Tuesday and Thursday at exactly 9 and 10 a.m., always ordering the same iced oat, late, always sitting at the window counter. One day, I asked if the seat next to her was taken. She smiled and said, "Only by my bad decisions." I laughed harder than the joke deserved. That felt like a sign. Over the first month, We became coffee shop friends, not real friends, just the kind who know each other's schedules, dream orders, and surface level dreams. Her name was Lina. She worked in urban planning and talked about cities like they were living things. I told her I was a graphic designer, and she said she liked how my brain probably saw the world sideways, or
Mhm.
something like that. She
Good.
said that like it was a compliment. I decided it was. By the second month, we were talking together after coffee. Not dates, just walks. So sorry. She told me about her ex who moved away at a bad time, which I pretended not to read too deeply into. I told her about my last relationship ending because we wanted different futures, which was code for I love her more. We started texting mostly memes, occasionally late night. Are you still awake? Messages. Every time my phone buzzed with her name, my chest did that stupid, hopeful flip. The city started cooling down, leaves everywhere, layers. She borrowed my jacket once when I got colder than expected. She smelled like citrus and something floral I couldn't place. I remember thinking, this is it? This is how it happens? I never said anything, though. I kept waiting for the perfect moment because that's what people in love do when they're afraid. Month three, month three is where things shift. She started canceling coffee. Busy week. Dear, so sorry, did tired. When we did meet, she seemed distracted, checking her phone more, smiling at messages that clearly weren't from me. One night she told me she'd been seeing someone casually and immediately rushed to add, it is nothing serious. I nodded, like that sentence didn't hit me straight in the lungs. I tried to pull back. I really did. But so sorry. But then she invited me to walk with her through the city at night. The skyline glowing, the streets humming. We sat on a beach. So sorry. We sat on a bench by the river. She rested her head on my shoulder, just briefly, like it was accidental. I didn't move. Breathed. I don't think I breathed. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her. Hey, can we talk later today, like in person? I stared at my phone for a long time, long enough that the city outside my window fully woke up, long enough to realize that 3 months ago I was a stranger in this place, and now everything felt like it was balanced on whatever she was about to say. I haven't replied yet, and I don't know if this is the moment where I finally tell her how I feel, or the moment where she tells me she never saw me that way at all.
Okay. Thank you. So it's a tad bit on the longish side, like it was like over a page long.
Don't worry.
But overall, right? So that's kind of the scenario, right? Like this guy that's new to the city. He met a girl, and all of a sudden, it seems like uh, whatever he wants to decide will depend on how she feels about him, right? Um, does anybody have any thoughts so far regarding the story? What do you think? Like, any particular thing that you may think that he should do or he should feel, or like, what are your thoughts? It could be about anything.
Okay, let me think for a minute. I'm
Yeah.
trying to make a question, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Uh, mm,
Like you can even comment about how the story is written too, like this whole Reddit story format. I do find it kind of interesting, right? It's like just imagine like someone's like right with you in person and they're telling you their story. So that's kind of how it feels like.
I think if you want to build a relationship, you need to meet with the another person.
Mhm.
Um, Not always you can know a lot or entire person. When you meet with another person and you talk to that person, you can create an image about this person. It's very important to consider that. It's not easy build a relationship depending of you and the another party, as you
Yeah.
know.
well, I have an opinion. I think he should
Okay.
just text her. He should just invite her to a date. After that, he should just demonstrate to her that he has interest in knowing more of her.
Yeah.
Um, because if he acts like a friend always, maybe she's gonna think that he's just
Ooh.
interested in her as a friend. He doesn't make any move. He's gonna stay always in that same position, in the same position. So it's important to make steps, maybe step by steps, baby steps, but he should just move on and make maybe I don't know, a strategy or a plan. But he's just in the same position like always, and that's not the idea.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the whole possibility of being in the friend zone if he doesn't change the circumstances. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share?
I think,
Yes, go ahead.
well, what I notice here is that she was interested at the beginning of the meetings, and then passing the month, she stops getting interesting on him. No,
Yes.
that's my opinion. My opinion.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like too. Until like hits about month three, and that's where things shifted. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, something happened there between them. For that reason, maybe the relationship changed a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think the girl is still interested in him, but the problem is that maybe he just wait a lot of time. In that time, maybe the girl started to know to know the person, like the text state. So, but I think the girl still have some interest in him, uh, because there was a part of the text where she landed her head on the shoulder. So I
Mhm.
think that means maybe something,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's in a friendly
The friend zone.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that, or maybe in a lovely sound, something like that. you know,
That
that's
is a
everything.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because so that sense of timing, right, and probable lack of action on his part, right? Because this could have been an opportunity for him, and maybe that window of opportunity is gone. But who knows, right? Um, any other possible thoughts? Anything that you all can like try to pick apart.
Well, I can talk a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I've been made a chance to talk to the lot because now I'm gonna be a lot more, but I confuse in the contents of the story, and I just imagine that someone they can love at the first sight, that they can meet their partner in the first time, but they love immediately. But someone they still love as crush to someone. They keep silence until their partner to express something um, about the relationship. And I think they have to break. And also seriously to hope, one thing will happen better. And look like, for example, because I was explained about the love when I was young, and I love a girl,
Okay.
and we have good relationship. But actually, I don't dare to talk. I love her so much. Yes, that seriously is in my heart. I don't know how I can talk clearly with her about that. But one day, her head stay on my shoulder, and that should know, get me know, she also love me too. But both of us don't dare to talk together about that.
Yeah.
But time to make clear about that in our heart. And then we have spent, more than 2 years. When we have experience, we more understanding, and we also empathize in situation. We know exactly what is our partner will do, and then we show up that, boy, you're our partner. Then she immediately agree to love with me. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I think from what Matt's referring to too, I like so it's kind of bringing me up it's bringing up a question for me, which is what do you think would cause people to be afraid to express their feelings? What do you guys think? Because in this case, you can kind of see that there's something in this story where it seems like the guy is afraid to express his feelings, right? Which is why uh, he didn't say anything or do anything. He didn't really make any moves. And after 3 months, oh, busy week, dead tired,
I
right?
consider it could be a rejection of from the another person. Is very common that. Also, you can be afraid that the another person just hurt your feelings or things like that.
Yeah,
Could happen.
that's one possible thing. Yes. Any other thoughts? What are possible things that would lead people to feel hesitant in expressing their feelings?
I consider for the On the other hand, in addition to that, it's common that the society um, taught us the love is suffering, and a lot of people that have a lot of people have that idea in mind, and for that reason, could be a little difficult or a little tricky um, explain our feelings or try to talk about it. Also, currently could be more difficult because the society also says that love could be for for a specific purpose. I don't know, money,
Yeah.
highlight in a society or things like that.
Yeah, that's valid too. Okay. I just realized that a whole bunch of people jumped into the call. So hi, welcome Gabriel, welcome Juan Franco, welcome Momo. Hi again, Tokaru, and welcome Jacqueline. So hi.
Hello, Tantik. I don't see a long time.
Yeah. As um muchos tiempo that we've
Ye-
seen each other.
Yeah, yeah, good, good.
So let's see. So we just went through a reading regarding a relationship scenario. So just a brief synopsis is there's this guy that recently moved into the city and he met a girl at a coffee shop. Um, Things started to go a little bit slow first, but eventually they became coffee friends and then started to hang out a little bit more. They got a little bit closer and shared certain things about themselves, about why they're not in a relationship and that they're currently single. So this is like around autumn, and things are getting a little bit colder. And even she borrowed this jacket right here. So everything looks like, this might be the right moment, right, for them to be with each other until, you know, by the time it hits to the third month, everything starts to change. Dum dum dum. She starts to get busy. So it's like busy week, dead tired. Um, when they do meet, she's a little bit distracted on her phone and things of that nature. It seems like maybe she's starting to pull back, right? So she mentioned how like she started dating someone casually, and he didn't try to make any particular reactions, right? But they went out for a walk. They sat on a bench. She rested her head on his shoulder, like it was accidental, right? So like the next day, she's like, "Hey, can we talk later?" Right? So he hasn't replied yet, but he's wondering where this is going to lead to, whether it's going to be his very moment or if or if things are going to end, right? So that's the story. So the idea will be, having gone through the story, what does everybody think, right? So far, various people have shared. I don't know if anybody who have just joined in want to share their thoughts, but you can feel free to.
I would like to know if it is a second part of the story, maybe to know what did she tell her. I don't know. This is a ChatGPT story, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I just wanna know how it finish up.
yeah. This is a ChatGPT story. So if anything, what I could do is I can ask ChatGPT later to say like, "Hey, can you continue the rest of this story?"
So
Yeah,
I realized
I don't
that
know what happened.
the story was incomplete. All the stories were incomplete. So I was, oh my God, I would like to know the end of that story. The end of that story. What's happening? You know?
Yes.
And
So just to give you let's see. Oh, am I not signed in here? Okay, here we go. Cancel. Okay, here we go. So how I did it on ChatGPT is, can you come up with it? Oh, actually, move this a little bit. All right. Can you come up with a story? Oh, let's adjust this a little bit better. There we go. Can you come up with a story like a Reddit story in which deals with an unrequited love scenario between a guy and a girl happening in a span of 3 months, but end the story with a cliffhanger? So this is the reason why it has the cliffhanger, because I purposely asked for a cliffhanger. Um, we can take the story and I can just ask GPT later on to continue the story, so that we can resolve the cliffhanger part. But yep, that's kind of how I got the story created. Um, so let's see. Does anybody else want to provide some input? Just feel free to jump in and tell us your thoughts about the story, or at least from what you know.
I can say that their story was really interesting, and I was really excited to read it and to know a little bit more like the future, what's happening at the end. The first story, especially when
Hmm.
the man invite the woman into a restaurant, I guess, and what's happening at the end. Did he go out with her, or what's happening? So I think ChatGPT is very interesting to make this kind of stories here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable for me in this case, because the way I asked it, since I mentioned quote unquote Reddit stories, so all he had to do, or ChatGPT had to do, was just go through all the Reddit stories and then just take kind of bits and pieces and put it together to make a story. Or this could literally be a Reddit story that you could find on Reddit. Not really sure, but that's kind of the idea.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. With a lot more people joining on the call, and many of you may have missed out on this first story. Oh, hi, Diana. Um, so I'll move on to the next story where, we'll have an actual reading, and then we can go through that next story. But before going to the next story, one thing to think about, right, which is I thought was kind of interesting. An interesting thought would be, like, let's say that the one night she told me she'd been seeing someone casually and immediately rushed to add, "It's nothing serious." I nodded like that sentence didn't hit me in the lungs. So this could imply, one, that the person that she's casually seeing is another person. Or number two, what she could be referring to is that the person she's casually seeing is the actual person himself, as in this guy, but she's trying to act like as if she's not interested. She's, in a sense, maybe testing him, right? And then all of a sudden, she walks with him. They sat by a bench by the river. She rested her head on his shoulders and, trying to give him little hints. And then the next day, the idea could be that she could be confessing to him, then the next day, right? So this could be a happy ending, right? This is why towards the end, it's like, I don't know if this is the moment where I finally tell her how I feel, or the moment where she tells me she never saw me that way at all. So this could be the possibility that she may have actually seen him in that kind of way. It's just that, you know, this kind of portion right here where she's like, oh, busy week, dead tired, could be maybe a misdirection, right? But this is much more of a hopeful way of thinking about it. All right, so just a reminder, there's no right or wrong to any of this because the way I asked ChatGPT is to write me kind of a story that has that cliffhanger, right? So whatever you think may be valid or there would be a lot of validity in what you would be saying. So don't be afraid of possibly being wrong because you might actually be right in some way or form. So with that, we can go to the next story. I don't know like if this is the right titling for it because like I just copy paste what ChatGPT says, but throwaway because I'm pretty at least or sure or throwaway because I'm pretty sure at least one of them uses Reddit. But this is probably a story that might have been on Reddit, perhaps. But would anybody like to read this next one?
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
to read.
me too. I've never heard.
Oh, you never have? Okay,
Yeah.
because like there's a couple of stories. So like let's see. Um, I'll let Camilo go first because he jumped in, and Tokaru, if you like, you can read the next one. Is that okay?
All right.
Okay. So Camilo,
Okay, thank you.
yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Okay, I-29F have worked at the same mid-sized tech company for about 4 years now.
Oh, let me
This
pause for a
story
second.
course,
So you all understand, right? Like the whole 29F and stuff like
I
that.
know I don't get it.
It's age and female or male.
The gender. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yes. Yep.
Uh, okay, okay. I'm gonna repeat myself. I 29F have worked at the same mid-sized tech company for about 4 years now. This story covers the last year, and I still don't know how I let it get this complicated. At the beginning of last January, we hired two new people within a week of each other. Mark, 30, Mark, 31M, joined my team as a project manager. Ellie, 27 years old, was brought in as a data analyst who works closely with us, but technically sat in another department. Same floor, same break room, same awful coffee. Mark was confident in that polished. Marco was confident in that polished. I've done this job everywhere, kind of way. He wore button downs even on casual Fridays and always remembered people's birthdays. Ellie was Ellie was quieter, sarcastic. Once you got him talking, the type who listened more than he spoke. I didn't think much of either of them at first. Work was work. By March, Mark and I were grabbing lunch together a few times a week. He framed it like networking, but the conversations drifted fast past projects, past relationships, future plans. He told me he admired my work ethic, that I kept my team grounded. I started looking forward to those lunches more than I probably should have. Around the same time, Okay, around the same time, Ellie and I got stuck late on one night, finishing a quart. How can I pronounce that word?
Quarterly
Quarterly.
quarterly
Okay,
report.
quarterly. Okay. Ellie and I got stuck late one night finishing a quarterly report. The office was empty. Lights dimmed automatically, and we ended up ordering takeout and complaining about management. That night turned into a pattern. Late work, share jokes, playlist swapped over Slack. He never flirted outright, but there was something steady about him, something that made the long hours feel lighter. By summer, it felt like I was living two parallel office lives. With Mark, things were obvious: compliments, lingering eye contact in meetings, a drink after work that turned into into two. He never crossed a line physically, but he made it clear he was interested. Just careful enough to stay professional. He once told me, timing matters. I don't rush things. I didn't ask what he meant by that. With Ellie, things were uh, quieter but deeper. He noticed when I was overwhelmed, and I used his workload to help without saying anything. He remembered teeny details I mentioned once. One afternoon, while we were waiting for the elevator, he asked, "Are you actually happy here?" I didn't know whether he meant the job or something else. In September, rumors um, started. A coworker asked if Mark and I were a thing. Another joke that Ellie was clear into me. I laughed it off, but my stomach twisted every time Mark became more guarded at work. Ellie became more distant, like he was pulling back on purpose. Then, in November, Mark told me he'd been offered a promotion, same company, different office across the city. He said he hadn't accepted yet. He asked me to dinner that night, outside, outside of work. For the first time, not pretending it's just co-workers, he said. 2 weeks later, Ellie told me 2 weeks later, Ellie told me he turned down an offer from another company because he didn't want to stay over somewhere else. He didn't look at me when he said it. Before leaving for the day, he added, "I need to know where I stand with you. Now is December. End of year reviews are done. Holiday decorations are up. The office feels suspended in this weird, quiet pause. Mark is waiting for an answer about dinner and the promotion. Ellie is waiting for an answer I'm not sure I can give. HR just emailed about restructuring in the new year. I'm sitting at my desk, staring at my calendar, realizing that whatever I choose is going to follow me into the next year. And I still haven't decided who I am about to hurt, or if I'm about to lose both of them. And I think that's all right.
Yep, and that's it. So that's the story. So in a sense, you can see that this is compared to the last story, which was kind of an unrequited love situation. This is a love triangle situation. We may have had a story similar to this in like the moral dilemma session that we had like a few months ago. So this might be similar to some of you who attended that meeting, but what does everybody think with this particular story?
Well, I was reading, so I think this story is more interesting than the last one because I don't know, there's more drama. I don't know how to say it in English.
Yep, that's a
Drama.
great way to
Okay.
say it.
Listen,
Okay, thank you. There's more drama, so it makes it
yeah,
more interesting, and it makes the reader to think if she's gonna choose what's gonna be the decision if she's gonna maybe choose Ellie or Mark. So I think that was a good story.
Good to hear. Anybody else with thoughts?
Okay, could I
Go ahead.
could I talk a little bit?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, I had my mouth full.
Okay, thank you very much. And and after listening to that story, and I would say that we can make the decision for ourselves on any spot because I would say that the opportunity just comes one time, and if we ignore that, I think we will not second time. And actually, I think more people, they are working for the company. Someone they there to challenge new opportunity comes for themselves. And I think that's a good chance for them to come out uh, comfortable zone to roll up for ourselves after that. Because, for example, I was that before when I was working for the company, and then I surprised to get the invitation from another company. But the first one, I consider a lot. I should leave current company or not. Or I have to challenge myself to get things better. At least I get more experiences and also a good lesson as well. If I fail a new company, but that I spent a very short time for me. And after that, I decided for myself, okay, live, because I think we never have second opportunity the same time. And now we have that very good because I can compare, new one. Now for me, I heard a double salary, and I work only 36 hours a week only compared to 148.
Okay, whoa.
Why we don't live, right? We can stop beginning time, and we can review, beginning time.
Interesting.
But I think it doesn't matter. But I look at your salary. I work 1 year. The same I work current companies in 3 years.
Yeah.
And why they don't live?
So
I concluded that after that, it works.
So
That's
Matt,
it for me. Yeah, a new opportunity. Yes, that I would say.
so Matt, I guess the whole point was more towards the love triangle aspect of the story. Although you took it with a different angle regarding the whole work life kind of idea of it. So okay, interesting. So anybody else with any thoughts regarding the story? Feel free to jump in and express your opinion. Go ahead, Momo.
Yes, so I would like to, not the story, I would like to share about my life experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So after my graduation, I started to work in the hospitality life. So I don't have the experience, and also I don't have the background about that background educations. So I only just the completions or graduations of the mathematics. So I think I'm very different with my job life. So at the times, yeah, my superiors are very aggressive persons, I think. Yeah, so I face a lot of challenges and client complaints. So I don't know how to organize and how to solve the problems. So some colleagues are very kind and very polite, and they illustrate how to solve the problem and how to handle with customers client satisfactions. So I was so appreciative about their hair. Yeah. So also, so I think my manager is very a kindful person. Yeah. So he.
You still there, Momo? think her signal might have dropped off. Or maybe is it my signal?
No, I can hear her at all.
Oh, you can hear her, or you cannot.
No, maybe she's having
I can't
trouble with
hear
the
her.
microphone.
Okay, got it. Let's see. Let me type into the chat box.
Yeah, wait.
By the way, let's see. Hi, welcome to the. Oh, looks like they dropped off. Okay, cool. Hopefully she jumps back in and then her sound fixes herself. But okay, interesting. Yeah, because looks like she was going to go a little bit more into her story. But in the meantime, does anybody else have a kind of a particular thing regarding this love triangle story? Let me do it this way where I can actually increase the text a bit more. There we go. Does anybody have any particular thoughts? And does anybody remember a similar story when we had the moral dilemma meeting? Let's see.
Hi, Ben. Can I say something about this paragraph or this story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for having me, and happy Saturday, wherever you are. Yeah. Honestly, I forgot about the last lesson or last topics, but just want to give my thought about this story, because this story was very interesting. Not just like a narrative or a story on the paper, but I think in the real life, it happened many times. In a circles that someone probably fell in love with their boss. In this case, I think the female is the boss, right? I don't know, but the point is, I think the I, which is the female, should decide what the person should be their, let's say, their boyfriend or something like that, because I think she knew about her feeling, and but one thing in my country, in some companies, or even in a, let's say, in a bank, something like that, there is no couples in some department, something like that. I think it can be a conflict interest or something like that. So if you have such kind of relationship with someone in the same company, in the same work field, you have to choose whether you have to go out, or you shouldn't be in a relationship, something like that. I don't know if you have such kind of the similar thing in your country, but in my country, yeah, many companies have the rules to not allow for the employee has such kind of relationship. Thank you.
Good. Very nice. I'm happy that somebody brought this up because this is definitely something to consider, right? This is why towards the end she mentioned about how she hasn't decided who to hurt, or like who she's about to hurt, or if she's about to lose them both, right? Because since they're working in the company, it may be an inappropriate relationship to begin with. There wasn't anything in this story that may have described that she might actually have feelings for either one of them, right? So that's something else to consider. So, and probably the reason why it could be is because workplace romance may not be allowed. So yes, and even in the US too, depending on the company, some companies do not allow for workplace romance, at least within the same department, because like Diana says, it is a conflict of interest. That's a very good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. So really nice job. Cool. Does anybody else have any particular thoughts? Oh, okay, take care, Edith, and thank you for joining.
Thank you, Tan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. So let's see. But like, does anybody else have any particular thoughts about this? Because there could be a bunch of other things you could talk about in there and this. So don't feel shy with with your thoughts. Go ahead, Tokaru.
I can say that at work is I don't like that my coworker or my comrade because you are going to see each other every time and people like gossip, you know. So I think it's not really a good idea for me to date your girlfriend if you are going to see her every time at the same place like your comrade, your girlfriend, your co-worker, this kind of thing, you know. So for me, I can't do that. Yeah.
That's fair. Sometimes, like when you see someone too much, you might get sick of them. So
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
fair thought.
My girlfriend is a little bit far away, so that I can date her or we have a dinner, we
Hmm.
can talk about our journey, like how was your work, like where you work on. I can share my thoughts, you know, so
Yeah.
that the conversation is more richer. When
Ooh,
we live the same thing every time. Yeah, but for me, it doesn't much.
that is a very good point. Then you have a way to create more of a bond with your potential part or with your partner if they are, in a sense, not in the same company as you. So yes,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
very fair point.
Thank
Good.
you.
Okay. Anybody else with any particular thoughts? So yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to speak up and share your thoughts on the story.
Mm, I was going to say something, but I'm just gonna rethink what I was about to say, and just give me a minute.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
got it. I was just going to say, just to complete the idea you were saying some moments ago, that maybe some people um, mm, take the decision to have a relationship in the company with a person who is from the same company, maybe because it's the only uh, social place where they have an opportunity to meet someone,
Mm,
because it happens a lot. The workplace is a place where you can meet a lot of people, you can know a lot of people, maybe get into a relationship. Obviously, at the end it can goes pretty bad, because if the relationship ends up in a bad way, it can be uh, it can be the worst decision that you've ever made in that year. But
yeah.
in the other hand, it goes very well. well, it's gonna be a good story. It's a good experience, but anyway, I don't think there's there's a I don't know. I don't know how to say it in English. Um, well, that was my idea anyway.
Yeah.
You just take advantage of the situations and to know more people. And in those moments, you don't think logically. You think about this. I'm not gonna be having a chance in the future to meet someone like her or to meet someone like him. I want to try out something. So yeah, maybe that's because a lot of people get into a relationship with their coworkers.
Yes.
I think that's my opinion.
That's a fair thought. Yeah, like the opportunity of things, and trying to meet someone, it might be very difficult, right? So that's a fair point to make. Um, so let's see. We have a newcomer too. So like Yorvi Kuate, I think. I don't know how to pronounce your name. So like welcome to the call. Okay. So
Hello.
oh, hi Eli or Ellie.
Hello. Good evening.
Yep. Good evening. Yeah, so please share your thoughts.
The principal I think is about the relationships. It's okay.
Okay.
It's for example, in my opinion, for me, is a good experience because I worked in last year. I worked in a bit in ocean company in the ships. I think I have a very good experience about, for example, with my coworkers and the relation is in with different cultures, different peoples, and about the different countries. But for me, was this experience about for me was this experience very was a good experience in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool. Okay. Would anybody else like to share anything? All right. So, oh, did you want to say something, Tokaru?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. One thing to point out is one, Mark in this story is the project manager. He's the one that's older than her. And he's going to take a position where he is still within the same company, but he's going to work in a different building altogether, right? So it's the part right here where like he's offered a promotion, same company, different office, and it's across the city. So in a sense, it's different departments and different building all together, right? So it seems like he'll still be in the same city, so they can meet separately outside, but they're not going to be with each other, right? So this would be one of those things where I guess this is him hinting that like, hey, because we're not working together professionally anymore, then like technically I can hit on you. um, to put it bluntly, right? So this is kind of like his opportunity to be able to develop a relationship, since in this case, it's the idea that there won't be any conflict of interest. Same thing with Eli, who is younger than her, right? 2 weeks later, Eli told me he turned down an offer from another company. So it seems like Eli's intention is to actually work for a different company. So the idea would be that he wants to know where he stands with the person in question, so that if he goes to a different company, then hey, he's available, he's free. They can date each other because there literally won't be any conflict of interest since they're working for a different company. He'll be working at a different company, right? So this is the idea where. Oh, go ahead. Yes. Okay, so this is the idea where like there's a possibility that a relationship could come to fruition because any type of hindrance to them developing a relationship will be gone since they won't be having any sort of conflict of interest. This is just more about how she feels, right? It's difficult to kind of figure out that part since it doesn't really mention anything about what her feelings were for either one of them. It seems like she got along with either one of them, right? That's kind of the idea, right? The other part is in the previous meeting related to the moral dilemma scenarios, right? There was that one story where there was a moral dilemma of a love triangle where the girl had to pick between a guy that he was kind of a playboy, but then he professed his feelings for her, right? He was more outgoing, he was more confident, right? And he had the goal to be able to, or he was bold enough to tell her, to confess to her, versus the other guy who was kind of quiet, he was meek, he was very attentive with all her needs, but he just didn't really outwardly express things readily until like very last moment. So the consensus that most people had in that meeting at that time is that the girl should have chose the more confident guy because he was bold enough to say something, whereas the guy that's kind of meek, it kind of gets mixed signals because it made it sound like as if it's a friendship, right? It's hard for the person in question to realize whether it's a friendship versus if it was the guy actually expressing love to her, right? So just kind of a recap of the previous meeting, just to kind of segue to this particular story, right? Does that bring any particular thoughts for everybody in terms of what you guys think?
Yes, Tan, a little bit. I would like to add more about this this story or scenario.
Yep.
The last thing at the end of the story, we knew that the lady, the female, hasn't decided yet, who the person that she chose, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, I think both are different type, In this case, I think the Mark, if I can measure, he was kind of the person that, has kind of a good career because he got promotion from the company. But at the same time, he should go outside the city, something like the difficult situation. But I think nowadays, I could say that it doesn't matter for LDR. LDR means long distance relationship.
Yeah.
And specifically in this scenario, they are still in the same company, right? So one day probably they can meet for some purpose, some meeting or something like that. And the other beneficial from the Mark, I think Mark is, like you said, is older than the female, so it's kind of the common for the relationship as a couple. I'm saying about the general that it could be it could be good for the couple if the man older than the female, but it's not in 100%, but just my point of view about the general, right? And from this advantage, I think female as I don't know the name is I, me, yeah, tend to choose the mark, tend to choose mark. You know why? Just logically, right? By the reason of I said before, having a good career and older, something like that. And on the other side, like Ellie doesn't have such kind of what Mark has. So yeah, if I suggest to I as a female, yeah, you have to choose Mark instead of Eli. But again, talking about love is not just logically, right?
Yes.
It's we have to involve our heart, So yeah, I'm saying just from the surface or the situation or the condition of this story, yeah, Mark more capable, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. And you brought up another good point too with the age difference, right? And how that could be a factor, and their career position as well. So like very good. So those are the kind of things that you could also pick apart, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like the way it is, but those are fair things to consider. So I'm really glad you brought up those things too, right? Very good job. Nice. Okay, let's see. So we have more new people, and it's so for those that haven't caught the story, don't worry. I posted the link to the story into the chat box. It's not necessarily fair to have you comment on it. So we do have a couple more stories after this. The last story has an audio. So the last portion, I only what I did is I had ChatGPT listen to the audio and then to basically, do text or do voice to text, right? To capture the text of it. But I only captured it only to a certain point, right? Because there's going to be more to the story, which I'll allow you all to listen to. It'll be a little bit kind of interesting because it's from a podcast where the hosts are reading what is considered Monday misconnections. But we'll get to that in a little bit, right? So next up, we can move on to the third story, unless, yeah, I think we kind of beat this second story to the ground. So let's move on to the next story. And if anything, we can always have some go backs for the previous stories. So here we go. So Tokaru, since you wanted to read, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So this is the next story. It's throwaway because my husband knows my main and I don't want this tied to me yet. So take it away.
Can I get started?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I, 34F, have been married to my husband, Tom, 36M, for 8 years. Until this past year, I would have sworn we were solid, not perfect, but safe, comfortable home. Last January, little things started changing. Tom began taking his phone everywhere, bathroom, garage, even when he went to grab the mail. If I walk into a room, he'd tilt the screen away, subtle but noticeable. When I asked who he was texting, he'd say just work and change the subject. I told myself I was being paranoid. I wanted to believe that. By March, he was staying up later than usual, sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop after had gone to bed. I'd wake up around midnight and hear him whispering on calls in the laundry room. Once, when I asked who he was talking to, he froze for half a second before saying, "Mark, you know, from the gym. I do not mark. They've never whispered before. In April, my sister Anna, 31F, came over for dinner and pulled me aside of afterward. She said very carefully, I don't want to cause problem, but are you and Tom okay? Apparently, she had seen him out at the restaurant across town with a woman she didn't recognize. They looked close. She said, I lock it off on I lock it off on in front of her. I cried in the shower later. By summer, I started to notice actual evidence. A charge of on our credit card for a bakery I'd never been to. A gift receipt is in his jacket pocket for something expensive, not meant for me. He started going on runs that lasted an hour longer than usual. Every time I tried to talk to him, he'd say, can we not do this right now? Like this was me being unreasonable. In August, I did note something I'm not proud of. I checked his email. I didn't find anything romantic. No messages, no flirting. But what I did find were long email chains with my best friends, Claire. Plans, attachment, dates, a lot of she can't find out yet. I comfort Claire to the next day. She looked genuinely shocked and then immediately defensive. I can talk about this, she said. You need to trust him. That somehow made everything worse. By October,
Oops, sorry.
by October, I was emotionally exhausted. I stopped asking questions. I started pulling away. Tom noticed, of course, and kept asking what was wrong, which felt almost cruel. One night, during an argument that started over dishes, I asked him outright if he was cheating on me. He looked devastated. No, he said immediately, I will never do that to you. He reached for my hand and pulled it away. He didn't push. He just said, I promise you will understand soon. Soon became November, then December. Yesterday I came home early from work because I wasn't feeling well. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Tom's brother and cars parking outside, and Claire and my parents through the living room's window. I could see them all inside, laughing, holding decorations, a giant wiper box on the coffee table. Tom looked up and saw me standing there. His face went completely white. I'm sitting in my car right now, keys still in the ignition, head pounding, realizing that either I've spent a year double the man I love for no reason, or I'm about to walk into something that's going to shatter what's left of our marriage. I don't know. I should open the door.
Dum dum dum.
Dum
So,
dum dum dum
right.
dum.
So, what do you guys think?
Actually, this is an interesting story. At first, you can imagine that the man the man cheats. That means that maybe he had another girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the story, I had the feeling that maybe the man want to organize to make a kind of a surprise to his wife. And that is why he kept his distance for a long period of time because he don't want to show her his phone. He has a lot of things. He hides a lot of things. I think, yeah, at first, but at the end of the story, you realize that so he get everything. his brother, even the family of his wife are in the same show, in the same place to have fun. So at the end, I realized that so she doesn't have to worry about that. Yeah, I think that's my opinion at the end of the story.
Sounds good. Cool. Anybody else with their thoughts? What do you all think?
Another thing that I think her reaction is really logical
Mm,
because it's a husband and he hides something. Whenever she wanna see his phone, he tried not to hide it, to
yeah,
hide that. So actually his reaction was normal. She wanna know what's happening, what people are doing on her back.
yeah,
Actually, his reaction is just normal. I had the feeling that I have already see this kind of shows things in a couple to a couple. Those
yeah.
like the man. Sometimes the man is away. The
Hmm.
woman try to take the phone, and when she scroll the phone, she see nothing, as if the man has already deleted everything on it.
Yeah,
Understand?
that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ellie or Eli, I saw you unmute yourself. Did you want to say something? Okay. Um, so yeah, the floor is free for anybody else that would like to comment on the story. Like, what are your thoughts?
Uh, but as I said earlier, the story is incomplete. We don't know what's happening in reality. Was it a surprise? What's happening? Why the man changed his attitude like that? I
Yeah.
don't know. You know.
Well, that's the reason why I had all these stories written as a cliffhanger. So that
Okay.
so it's purposely not complete, right? Just so that
Okay.
it allows for all of us to have our speculations. Um, yeah. So there's no exact right or wrong with any of this, right? Because it's an incomplete story, right? So you don't have all the information. But based on what
Uh,
you do know, what can you imagine? What can you speculate? Do you have any type of experiences that you could relate to? Things of that nature, right? So, because for example, in one question to bring up is, in some cases, when it comes to couples that have a potential surprise, right? Um, there are some couples that are very trusting of each other, right? Versus some couples that may not be as trusting of each other, right? So, um, any thoughts on why there's a particular reason where one person in the couple may not be as trusting? I think of the three stories, though, this might not be as interesting compared to story number two.
Actually, this story was interesting for me
Yep,
because throughout the story, you wanna know what does the man hide to her woman, to his woman.
yep.
Or, you wanna know why, what's happening,
Hmm.
what's something that the writer is is hiding. what does he hide? So I traveled. That's why I heard all the story. But I realized that uh, something is misses. Something misses.
Yeah.
All this, something misses. Yeah. But for me, it was really interesting. You wanna know the end, but unfortunately, no end.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. Looks like somebody else jumped in to read the story, so I'm kind of happy to see that. But let's see.
The misconnection or what?
Oh, that's the fourth story.
Okay.
So
Do you want someone to read the fourth story?
I'll
Not yet.
try to see if there's anybody else that would like to volunteer because there's probably others that would like to volunteer too.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. But like before we get to the fourth story, does anybody want to comment anything about the third story, or does it seem like it's kind of straightforward? So thank you everybody for joining the call. It's just the two of us now, but just because there's going to be a bunch of things I'm cutting out. But nonetheless, this was a pretty fun meeting, having the members talk about relationship scenarios and having read them out. We'll see next time for our next meeting in which we go into more poetry. Maybe I'll just do it as more reading type of things, or it could be something to that effect. I don't know. Or maybe we could even write our own poetry. But hope to see you all next time. All right. So take care, everybody. So bye. All right. And here we go. Click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round a table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. Our love is aired, across the world and love is aired. Across the world and love is aired. English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face, we find the way, in a little cafe day after day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Hey, accent charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.